Conscious Coach. Thank you for joining me on this live. Stay tuned. I'll be back in just 1 minute, and we are going to have a discussion about what it means to be black. I know that seems like a strange conversation, right? But we'll get into it when I return in just a moment. Tag, share, and tell a friend. This will not be like a conscious hour. The conscious hour is actually going to be tomorrow, which tomorrow we'll talk about Trinity, the young lady that we saw being abused in the garage. So that will be tomorrow. But today I want to talk to you guys for about 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long we go, about what it means to be black. So join me on this live right now. Tag, share, and tell a friend to join you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope. And we're going to talk about what it means to be black. See you in a little bit. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is Kathleen, your conscious coach. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be talking about basically the title of black and what it means to be black. That is what we are going to be discussing. And are we the people they say we are? So I'm just gonna type that in here for give me just a second. The title of being black. Here are we the people. Oh, I want to intend on doing that. I try to set this up normally before I go on, but having been a one woman show, sometimes I forget to do certain things. I can't do it all, but I have to, right? So we're going to talk about that for just a little bit. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because, as you guys know, I'm the author of the book, The Legacy Workbook, which is about restoration for the Black family. And so I'm going to take my time and they say we are. Boom, done. Okay, so again, welcome to my show. I'm the Conscious Coach. This is not the Conscious Hour. The Conscious Hour will actually be Thursday. However, this can be a conscious hour too. I can do what I want to do, right? Because it's my own show, right? Okay, we got that settled. So I am Kathleen. Hello to everyone, and I am your conscious mind coach. What does it mean to have a conscious mind? It means that you are able to critically think and make decisions regardless of the circumstances, situations, or the persons involved. And it just basically turns you into a thinking machine when you are conscious of your thought. Oh, and I'll throw a little tidbit in there a little later. So who am I? I'm Kathleen Harrod. I'm an author. I'm chosen. I'm an educator. I'm a speaker. I'm a writer. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm all those things and then some. In fact, I have a T-shirt that kind of says that, but I'm not wearing it today. You want to make sure you tag and share this post with your friends and family. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Periscope, follow. If you're on Facebook, follow. If you're on Instagram, continue to follow. You can always visit my page, Conscious Coach, on Facebook. You'll see all the videos I've ever done on that page. And so, just a reminder for this month, this is National Life Insurance Month. And believe it or not, I'm an insurance agent. So if you need a policy, you know I love the family, right? Give me hugs. No, give me a hug right now. You. I want a hug from you. Okay. Because, and thank you. Give me a hug. Because I love hugs, right? So there's COVID now, so we got to do these air hugs, okay? So I'm an agent. I'm a life insurance agent. I am licensed in the state of Arkansas. I'm licensed in the state of Missouri as well. So if you need a policy, if you're not in the state of Arkansas or Missouri, guess what? I still can get you a life policy. So don't hesitate to call 314-472-8127 is my number. You'll be speaking directly with me. I don't have an assistant yet. So you'll be speaking directly with me, and I can help you get you a quote for a life insurance policy. Just want to throw that in there because this is National Life Insurance Month, so I had to put that out there. So listen, me being who I am, I wanted to talk about this subject of us just on a basic level being black. I keep this little lotion in here because my hands are always ashy and it annoys me, but I wash my hands 1,000 times a day. Okay. Now, if you've been watching my show, you know I pretty much end my show every time with these little words, right? And I'm gonna put them up here so you can see the little words that I end my show with every day, which is it is our time and that we are breaking away from the curse. And I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but that is the truth. We're breaking away, honey. And each book that I write or have written is about us breaking away. So, getting back to what we're talking about today, the title of Being Black, are we the people that they say we are? I was listening to some a conversation, and I was actually going through a class, an orientation class, and a part of that was talking about in terms of us having a conscious mind. I want to kind of bankroll into this. I'm a conscious mind coach, but as I was listening to the training, it started to talk about implicit bias. So implicit bias means that you have these beliefs, or you have this system, or you believe in stereotypes or whatever you believe in your subconscious mind, right? Subconscious meaning the light switch is not on when you're making decisions, and you're not really consciously aware of what you're doing. However, it's back there, kind of beaming, right? And so in your subconscious mind, because you really show implicit bias when you make decisions or you say things that tend to lend to, if you're talking about racism and black people, um, disparities or untrue or unfounded statements. So a lot of times I see it a lot in schools. I see it a lot in programs when it comes to health. I see it a lot in our communities when it comes to job opportunities. Pretty much anywhere you go, or anything you try to do, you're gonna see a lot of implicit bias, and that umbrella is getting on my last nerve because it's over here in my show. Sorry. And so, um, implicit bias means that that's how you really treat people. You kind of treat them with a long handled spoon. You kind of treat them different because of what you believe in your subconscious thoughts. You kind of treat them a different kind of way, probably less than the way that you would want to be treated. And that's a part of implicit bias. You're not really conscious of what you're doing. So that's how they label it, right? So when it comes to the title of being black, and hopefully you're black and you're watching this, and hopefully I enlighten you a little bit. So when it comes to the title of being black, I wonder what we think about ourselves. I wonder how much of the racial undertones and overtones too have we actually bought into. And you might hear me use this phrase a time or two when I say that black people have bought into racism. Don't get offended, don't get offended, don't get offended. I just want you to wake up to the fact that some of us, because we've lived under discrimination, prejudice, and racism for so long, we think that that's just the way things go. And we don't really oppose it and we don't really fight against it. We kind of try to more so avoid it or forewarn about it. Case in point, a young man, I can't remember his name. I could probably look it up kind of quickly. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Case in point, a young man who is, I believe, a college student. I'm going to try to pull this story up real quick if I can find it real quick. Let's see if I can find it because it was on a Facebook page just recently. We kind of had a conversation about it on in a Facebook group. Let me see. I was, ooh, Lord, how many messages I got on here, child? Woo, Lord. Let me just try to get to the top, honey, because this is too much. Let's see. Go down a little bit. Should be right in here. Yeah, I think this is it. Cool. Ooh. So the bottom line was no, that's not it. Okay, so the bottom line was there was a black college student. This black college student, according to the report, did not technically have sex with this white girl. However, this black college student was sentenced to 20 years for like attempted rape or something like that. They gave him 20 years. And so like I said, this was on a page that I follow. It's a black page or whatever. And so the thing about it is, as I was reading through the comments on the page, I found that a lot of people were like, oh, that's why I tell my black son, do not be dealing with these white girls. Oh, he should have never been around her because she was a white girl. Oh, he should have never. Oh well, that's so sorry for him, but that's what you get because the white judge, that's how they gonna make decisions. It's kind of like subconsciously we've bought into the idea that this is how life goes. We bought into the idea that, oh, had he not been around that white girl, if he wouldn't have did that, he wouldn't have got 20 years. Instead of saying, wow, this is not right. What can I do to help free this young black man who has been criminalized by an unfair justice system? Now, you guys know me, and I don't want to get off subject, but you guys know me. I have TBB Contact 3, which is all about being an advocate against sexual trauma, sexual abuse, and all of that stuff. And I'm for preventing child sexual abuse based on my own trauma from my own life. So I'm very, very adamant about being protective of us, right? And so, but at the same time, I don't need a young black man in prison for something he did not do. I don't need a young man in prison for some of the same type of behavior that got Emmett Till killed. There is no protection for white people. There is no extra sentencing of black people because they were involved with a white person in a relationship, whether it was sexual or not. There is no letting them get away with doing wrong to our people. So, this title of black must also bring with it a level of consciousness that we don't run away from, but we always find ourselves running towards to make sure we're good. And when I say to make sure we're good, I'm saying to make sure what they think about us doesn't become reality for us. Because see, they think that they can put us in jail and we will never fight back. They think they can put us in jail for 20 years and we will never say anything. They think that we'll do a bid and we will never confront the justice system. That's what they think about us. In fact, they think that about us so much until they feel like they've got us pegged. And you know what peg means, right? Peg means that you fit into a certain hole, you fit into a certain category, you fit into a certain group, no matter what's going on around you, you fit right perfectly into that little hole. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do anything. This is your spot. This is where you go. You'll never evolve from this. You'll never grow from this. I can tell you what black people are going to do. They're going to fit perfectly in the little hole that society has created for them. And that's all they expect from black people. That's all they expect. They expect that they've conditioned us to the point where yeah, we'll get out there and we'll march and we'll do our protests and we'll do all of that, but we're not going to move past that. So they don't expect us to change laws. I did an article, not an article, but I literally posted in my on my WordPress page. Let me get out of all of this so I can see what else I need to do. I'm gonna leave it there. Teachable. Let me get out of there too. So I literally did an article on my WordPress page where I literally talk about. Sorry, I need to get another tab up here. Okay. So I literally did a thing on my WordPress page where I talked about the 7 things that need to change. Not 7 things, but the new laws that need to happen in the police department. Now we're talking about what does it mean to be black? What that title black, what does it mean? Go to my WordPress page, Kathleen Heritage WordPress. Lots and lots for you to read there. So in here though, I talk about this letter that I wrote to Governor Kasich, I believe. Give me just a second here. In this letter, if I'm not mistaken, this is the letter that I wrote. It was either Tamir Rice or Kasich, Ohio. It was either Tamir Rice, because I know I was living in Ohio when Tamir Rice was shot and killed. And so I think that was the premise behind this I'm double sure because I wrote an attorney in the area because I wanted to know how do we even get this on the books of legislation. So anyway, if you go to my WordPress page, which I'm going to be so nice to you guys right now, and I am going to actually copy and post this particular this one right here. I'm going to actually post this particular WordPress article so you guys can go back and read it for yourselves. So I'm going to post it now in the chat. By the way, hello everyone. Chat is open. So if you want to say anything, make any comments, yada, yada, yada. It's showing here that YouTube is good, Periscope is good, and I'm waiting for it to okay on Facebook. Facebook? What happened to Facebook? Okay. Let's see. Try that again. Periscope is good. YouTube is good. Facebook is good. So you guys should be you guys should be able to chat with me. So if you type anything in the chat, I can see it on my side. If you type anything in the comments or anything like that. Okay. So on the WordPress page, I have a blog and it's called The New Police Laws for Black Preservation. We're talking about the title of being black and what that actually means. Now we all, if you're watching this, you could be living anywhere because I do have Periscope and YouTube and Facebook, and Instagram, which are all social media platforms, which means you could be watching from anywhere in the world. But this is talking about black preservation. So I started off by giving a story about how black people are, a lot of times our sleep is interrupted with calls of violence against our people. So I wanted to declare a state of emergency, and then I call this the Tamir Rice Talk Zone Bill, and it really breaks down why officers should keep a safe distance, focus on the cause of the call of the stop. Zero tolerance for escalation of the provoking language is number 3. Unnecessary show of weapons is number 4. Request for immediate medical care, falsifying records and failure to record, and pre-hire credentials. I go on to give an incentive for good cops and consequences for their failure. That's really good. You really need to go over to WordPress, which I just shared with you, and really read that because it's really good and it's something that we actually need to implement. I know that Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg met with Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg met with who did they meet with? Biden. So Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg met with Biden. When was that? Yesterday or a day before yesterday? Was it yesterday that they met with him? I think it was. So I know that Ice Cube then met with y'all know who Ice Cube is, right? Now lately he been looking like this dude, but I'll show you 2 pictures of him just for those who child. If y'all don't know Ice Cube, I don't know what to tell you. Let me share this picture because this is what he been looking like lately. Oh, this is a better one. So let me see if I can get it up. Yeah. Let me switch this around. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Give me a second here. Why did it just do that? Okay, so it's gonna do its own thing. That's not cool. I don't like that. Let me try that again. So anyway, Ice Cube met with him on yesterday. Oh, let's see if this works. Okay. So Ice Cube met with him on yesterday, and they were talking about Ice Cube's new Black Agreement. Now, if you have not seen Ice Cube's Black Agreement, then you need to Google it. Just Google Ice Cube Black Agreement. It's actually a good agreement. I think it's at least the start of a conversation. Oh, I can't remember all the deets. I don't think I saved it either, but knowing me, I did because I saved it. But let me see. Talk zone, Ice Cube. At any rate, it was good. It had some really good pieces in there about things that he wanted to see done. And so I encourage you to take a look at that. So there's 2 things you need to do. When we're talking about being Black, what does the title of Black mean? I want to say to us that the title of Black has to mean more than just, I'm Black and I'm proud. I'm proud of my brown skin. And we got out. We got it. I think we're good. I mean, we do need daily reminders and affirmations, and I get all that. But to take it a step further, we need to do things that will bring us to equal footing, right? We need to do things. We need to do black things that will bring us to the same level of white privilege that they are experiencing, right? So, how do we get our blacks on the same level of white privilege? Ooh, that's good. And Jay Z talked about this actionables. I don't even know if I'm spelling this right. Look, even my what's the name? New word. Because even my thing was like error. That ain't even right. I'm gonna let it roll though. So blacks on the same levels of white privilege. How do we get to this place where blacks are actually on the same level of what we call white privilege, right? So white privilege is really equal rights for everyone, right? It means if you get stopped by the police, I get treated the same way when I get stopped by police, right? It means that if I'm on a job and you guys are promoting or letting people move up to lead positions or bid out of the department or even to be hired at the same company and you receive the same rate of pay, white privilege actually means that's what I want to be equal to as a black person. And so to make that happen, we have to have what Jay-Z called actionables It was the first time I ever heard that word too. So I tried to type it out. I didn't look it up. So, you know. So actionables, probably need another N in there or something. Look, I'm not even going to get into no spelling situation right now. But what do we do to make our black title really, really mean something? Now, me myself, I was a part of Black Lives Matter and the Cincinnati Agenda, and I would march and attend events and sign this and do that and da 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 da. That's a part of an actionable. That's a part of helping us move up the ladder to what we call white privilege, which is really equality. Like everybody should be experiencing life in the same way. And so yeah. So the title of being black, are we the people they say we are? A lot of times, like I just said, because we're not really, I can't say we're not really active because we're totally active. But then what are we doing to swing things the right way? So Ice Cube was one example. My talk zone, which is changing laws about how police are able to engage with us, that's an actionable that you can get behind. I would love for you guys to support me with that. I had a petition going. I couldn't get nobody to sign that petition. I mean, social media wasn't popping like it's popping now, but I was on social media. I sent it to family. I sent it to friends. Nobody was signing. I don't know what it is about us that we don't believe us that we can get things done for us, but I'm telling you, us can do it. We can do it. And so I think I'm gonna get a petition going again with the talk zone thing. Also, I encourage people to participate in one local and one national organization that fights against racism. That's something you really, really have to do. So the title of being black is more than about head wraps, earrings, lashes, black power. It's about really shaping this world into the place that you want it to be. That's a benefit to you. Just like I said, white privilege should be equal to the equality. Okay, so there's no such thing. I know it's a such thing right now. We've identified the difference is what we've done. So white privilege looks like they have an advantage over us. Like we can clearly see what the advantages are. And I want us to come up to white privilege. So black privilege and white privilege and everybody privilege is all the same. So, like I said, you have to take actionables. And it's more than just getting up in the morning and saying, I am black and I am proud and I will be successful. That's good. That's good. Do that. Teach your children that. Teach them they can be, now you can say the next Barack Obama. Teach them they can be the next Serena Williams. Teach them they can be the next Maya Angelou. Teach them they can be the next Chadwick Boseman. Teach them that. Show them that. When I saw Oprah Winfrey on TV years and years ago, I think I was about 11 years old. And Oprah Winfrey shared her story. She was talking about how everything that she went through from when she left her mom didn't want her. She left Mississippi. She went to Chicago. She lived with her dad. She went through school. They told her she would never, make it on air. She wouldn't be successful. And we know she was molested. She was raped. All that stuff. It's kind of the same story as Maya Angelou, who I believe was from Arkansas, and then she moved to St. Louis, and she was raped by a family friend or uncle or whoever it was. Some people say it was an uncle. She said it was a family friend, a friend of the family. Maybe the uncle killed him. They say something like that. Let me stop. Let me stop right there because I don't want to be telling lies. And so, anyway, you see these women who have these unstable beginnings, and then they find the harmony, the stability in life, and they go on through many obstacles, though, right? We don't forget the obstacles. They go on through all these many obstacles, trials, and errors to become these phenomenal, dominating women, which I find to be quite liberating. and fascinating as well. So when you go back and look at those stories, when I was 11 years old, I was just coming. I had just identified the person who had harmed me sexually, and so all of this stuff was happening in my life, and I was being blamed. I wasn't being blamed. I can't say that. I felt like I was the blame in some ways. I felt like I was the reason why, the family was breaking down and breaking apart. I felt um, I had different mixed feelings at the time. But one of my for sure had was I'm about to do me. I'm about to have the life I've always wanted to have. Look, I've gotten rid of my biggest struggle as an 11-year-old. So I'm just looking at life like, come on, life, give me what you got. I want what's mine. I want to live the life I want to live. And so, I saw Oprah Winfrey on TV, and I was like, because all up until that point, all I saw on TV was they had black folks was so Trey. They be dancing and stuff, but I mean, look now, I can dance, but and I can sing, and I can write songs. I can't say that that was something that interests me, but it was entertainment, of course. So you had Soul Train, and we were basic blacks. We had very little. We were like super poor, so we barely had a TV that worked half the time. If you put the aluminum foil on there right and hold it right, and so we weren't as privileged, and so we lived in these situations. But I was able to see Oprah, and usually I see the Days of Our Lives. You see Erica Kane and all those people, and you saw The Price is Right, and you saw they didn't have Wheel of Fortune back then. They had The Price is Right and all those little game shows. And then you saw the news, and what did you see? Probably Hawaii 5-0 and all that, whatever you saw. But boy, across the screen one day, I walked in from school one day, and I saw Oprah Winfrey. And she had her own show, and she was black. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. So then I got my first glimpse. Whew, I'll tell you one thing, y'all. Phil. Now, you know what? I got my first glimpse at what being powerfully black was. And I gotta throw this here part in there. But you guys see that. I got my first glimpse at what being powerfully black was when I saw Oprah Winfrey. But I really got my first glimpse when I actually saw my mom kind of teaching in church. I thought that was like, oh, my mom's a teacher. Like she teaches the word of God. She teaches people. People sit there and listen to her. And I thought that was fascinating. She had always done that. And then I saw Oprah, and Oprah had a complete audience. But then I remember back when, and I'm thinking now back when I was about 12, 13 years old, when I became like an ordained youth, uh, not a youth leader, but I was the Sunday school teacher. So I was like a youth Sunday school teacher. My grandfather was the pastor of the church, and so he gave that to me that I would also share and teach in Sunday school. So it was my first time. I can't say it was my first time doing something like that because I've always been a front of the class type of person or whatever however you want to term that. And so anyway, I started reading the Bible and stuff, right? Because I'm gonna be like the Sunday school teacher and give comment at the end of the Sunday school about the whole lesson and all that stuff. So I started studying, and we're talking about the title of being black and what all of that means. And so one of the first things I learned was Jesus was not white. Like I learned that at 13 years old, and that just blew my mind because I walked in and have a conversation with my mom, and I'm like, well, Jesus said this and Jesus said that and all that stuff. I said, Mom, what color is Jesus, right? And my mother said to me, she said, "Why don't you look up? I want you to research and tell me what color he is. Tell me where he's from, what city he's from." So she gave me a Bible. She gave me a, what do they call it, concordance. She gave me, we had access to maps. And so she was like, "Look at here, and you do your research, and you come back and you tell me where Jesus was from and what color he was. You tell me based on his description who he was, what he did, and all that good stuff." And so I was serious about it. I grabbed it. I grabbed that concordance. I got the Bible. I got my maps out. I did a whole lot of reading. Oh, he from this city and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, "So based on all of that, what color do you think he was? Where do you think he came from?" And so that's when I found out he was from the continent of Africa, and that he was likely a, Middle Eastern or African man, which means he had dark caramel or dark skin. He was not, in fact, white. And so those are two defining moments when I was super young, where I got my first glimpse of what it means at being powerfully black. See, some of us are, we're black and we're proud, and we love people like Martin Luther King and all the rest of them, and that's good because we need to, because that's a part of our history and our past and who we are and all of that too. And but we also need to dig a little deeper when it comes to us being black individuals, because not only do we want to have um the equality, right? We want the That would be my kitchen. We want the equality, right? When it comes to police not stopping us, right? We want the equality when it comes to the jobs and the opportunities, right? When it comes to the bank loans, we want to be equal when it comes to like Oprah Winfrey and having a show, right? We want the equality when it comes to religion and being looked upon as someone who is mighty and powerful and able to take care of a nation and all of that. So, and for black people, religion is a very strong component of who we are. So justifiably, we look for those things and we desire those things, right? Equal to that, though, give me a second here. Equal to that, um we should also want to have equality in our home. So let's talk about what equality in our home looks like. So we want the justice, we want the opportunities, we want the bank loans, we want a good school system. We want all of this, and we should definitely have it, right? And whether we can specifically afford it or not, I'm not questioning, and I'm not questioning that. I think it's enough money, as we've seen through this pandemic. It's enough money to spread all around, right? We tax-paying people. It's more essential workers who have been identified as more black workers as well, out there than anything. So essential workers, black people are keeping this economy turning, right? And so, what does it mean to also have equality in our homes and to be sharing from our couch? This is supposed to be couch, not coach. Let me retype it. So equality in our homes, and what that means, share from the couch. That's what I want to say. Okay. So a lot of us, I know my mama said women showing us a chair. But a lot of us, like I said, as we're looking at all of these bands of equality that we want, we also want to make sure that we're putting in place what we need to have equality in our homes. So what does equality look like in our homes? Look now, I'm challenging myself here with all of this. The first thing equality looks like in our home is it's basically our mindset. And look, it's real clear. I don't want to say mindset. Mindset is too broad. I know what I want to say. I want to say our teachings, period. I think that's a great place to start. So when you look at the Black home, what are the teachings? Now, I'm not talking about going to church. I'm not talking about just living and being an example. I'm not talking about what they learned in school or what you learned in school. I'm not talking about what they hear. Well, I am talking about what they hear. But I'm not talking about just what they hear and see just because they're in the space. You get what I'm saying? I'm not talking about what they pick up on just because they're in the space. And I'm not even talking about what they learned because you sat down with them one time and told them something. I'm talking about what do we learn as Black people? What do we actually sit down and teach our children? That's what I want to talk about. So, as we have this title of being Black, what do we actually sit down and teach our children? Can you tell me the last thing you actually sat down and taught your child? We teach them how to ride a bike. We teach them how to tie their shoes. We've taught them how to what else have we taught them to do? We've taught them a lot of things, but have we taught them how to be Black? What it means to have the last name that they have. Have we taught them that? Hmm. What I'm going to do is I am going to let you guys go on like a little 1 minute break. And while we're on this 1 minute break, I want us to think about a couple of things. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about our teachings and where I think we need to go from here as a Black community and as Black people. So don't leave. Thank you so much for joining me for this conscious hour. This is Kathleen, your conscious coach, the author of the book, author of the Legacy Workbook, and you know me, I seriously believe it is our time, and it's definitely our time to break away from the curse. If you go to my website, you can see Kathleen Harry, the Conscious Book Collection. The website for the Conscious Book Collection is khconsciouscoach.org. You can go there to find all four of my books that I'll be posting later. If you would like to support this show, you can cash out me at KV Product. That's $ KV Product. Don't forget to tag, share, like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You want to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Periscope. So follow me on social media. If you would like to chat, I have a link posted in the chat to my WordPress page. You can make a comment or anything right there, and I'll see it on my end, and I may comment on it a little later. If you have a question, ask your questions. Be back in just a moment. If you are on live right now, please tag and share with a friend and let them know that you are watching the Conscious Hour with the Conscious Coach, Kathleen Harris. You're more than invited to browse my webpage at khconsciouscoach.org and see what I got going on over there. Welcome back, guys. Had to do a little housekeeping, as they say. So before the break, we were talking about our teaching and what that looks like. So I do want to share with you a couple of things when it comes to teaching. Now, a lot of us are here. Thank you. I think that's good enough. All right. So we're talking about our teachings. That's not rolling up there. When it comes to our teaching, what do we actually teach? Now, I know a lot of us have this thing we do where we have a come to meeting, right? It's like something happened, some type of event, and those are what we call teachable moments. When you sit your child down to teach them a lesson based on something that just occurred or happened, maybe you saw it on TV, maybe it happened with the neighbors, maybe it happened in your own house, and you find that this is a good time to teach a lesson. So I think what we have a lot of is we have a lot of teachable moments, right? So a teachable moment is way different. I'm gonna put that up there so you'll see what that is. If I can spell, child. So a teachable moment. Let me do it. So a teachable moment is when something happens, whether it's on the news or it's in your house, but it's an event or something that happens that you can kind of relate to and you can teach your child a lesson off of that. So to add a little humor to this hour, just like it was this guy on TikTok and he used Donald Trump versus Obama speaking to teach his child the importance of education and actually reading a book and learning how to write and spell. So you had President Obama over here, who we know is just, very articulate. And so President Obama, he can put sentences together. So President Obama is like, I'm just throwing something out here. We live in a society where education must be one of the most important parts of our culture. It's important for us to make sure we facilitate higher learning institutions for our children for the benefit of their education so that they can be successful in life. Compared to Donald Trump, who would sound more like, yeah, education is good. It's one of those things. Look, we want the kids to have it. Hey, look, parents expect for teachers to know what they know in order to do what they do, right? And so, you got to kind of put some money behind it if you really want this thing to work. I mean, Becky DeVos, she's over our educational department. Maybe that's something she could speak more to. I just know that, hey, I want my kid to go to school and be successful. So, yeah, that's something we need to look into. You see the difference? So, it's like you use teachable moments or things or events to sit down and teach a child a lesson, so to speak, and to let them see something that's relatable that you can show them the benefit of doing it a certain way versus the other way. So that's a teachable moment. A teachable moment is good, and you're going to have those, but a teachable moment is not teaching. You understand the difference? A teachable moment is not teaching. So if your child is friends with a girl or a boy, and your son is friend with a dude, and the dude got a girl pregnant, and then you sit your son down and say, "Son, I want to talk to you. You know, I don't want you having no baby. So let me talk to you about wearing a condom." And you say you don't want to get the girl pregnant. And so what you want to do is before you have sex with her, you want to pull out a condom. Put the condom on. Let me show you how to put the condom on. That's a teachable moment. It's based on an event that just happened to occur that you want to try to, that's relatable, that you feel like you can teach your child a lesson about. That's a teachable moment, right? That's not how you teach a child about sex. That's not how you teach a child about life. That's not how you teach a child about anything. Those are teachable moments. They're good. You're going to have them. Nothing can stop them. But that is much different than teaching. Your teacher, the teacher that you have in school, the professor that you have in college, they're not basing what they teach you every day off of teachable moments. They're not coming to school every day, even though they use some things that are relatable that to help you see the picture more clearly. But they're not coming to school to teach you off a whole bunch of teachable moments. No, they're building blocks. They're building upon a foundation. So every day you go to kindergarten, you learn what? Cat, C-A-T, right? After you go through kindergarten and you learn how to write a sentence, the cat jumped over, the cat ran, the cat chased the mouse. I'm trying to think of a kindergarten sentence, child. Kindergarten first grade. The cat chased the mouse. Okay, that's good for first grade. But by the time you get to sixth grade, you should be able to write or build a better sentence. Should have more than 3 words, right? Should be a sentence like, the president of the United States is responsible for the leadership of the nation. Sixth grade, right? You keep going to school, you keep building up. 10th grade should be, um, this country is founded upon laws that are congressional, uh, Senate, and whatever. Like, it should get more complicated, more in depth, should be more, be able to elaborate more, expand upon a subject more. But in kindergarten, do we expect that? No. It's the same thing with your home. When you're teaching your child, you're building them up. But first, they need a foundation. And a lot of our homes don't have a foundation. We just have a bunch of what? Teachable moments. Your kid cannot survive off of teachable moments. So we have to have moments where we actually sit down and we actually teach. And teaching means you have a lesson 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long it takes for them to get what you're saying and to be able to basically add it to their conscious mind. And it should let them know who you are, what you were saying, who they are, why they need this information, what's it all about, how they can apply it. And so we got to grow as families, right? So we're talking about our teaching, and what does the title, the whole thing is based on the subject of what does the title of being black, what is the title of, what the title of being black, and are we what the people say we are? So right now we're talking about our teaching. So when it comes to our teaching, one of the first things I want you to teach is, what does their last name mean? I got put it, what does your last mean? But what does your last name mean? Building honor behind your name. Now, when you are talking about your name, and I know we somehow we got into these people being these people who we really weren't, and it's kind of the residual effects of racism. And people don't want to believe this, but one of the residual effects of racism is a lack of boundaries, a lack of pride in self, a lack of safety for our people. And so we morphed into these people who have become kind of careless and not quite making the best decisions in life. But that's okay, because this is all about breaking away from that and breaking that curse, because it's our time and we're going to start making better decisions. So none of that matters. And so we have, because we morphed into this baby mama situation, and in some households, a lot of our children have three different daddies, which means they have quite a few names in one home. But let's wrap it around whatever the leader of the home is, who may be the mother or the father. If the child spends equal time in two different places, hopefully both of you guys will follow this. And so we want to talk about, what does your last name mean, and building honor behind your name. So now teaching is dynamic, because, like I said, it builds upon a foundation. And what you cannot do once you've learned something is unlearn it, in terms of, I may disregard it if I found out it was all bad information, not good for me, it didn't serve my purpose, and all that kind of stuff. I may disregard it in terms of applying it to my life. However, I still know the information, right? I can still pull it out of the bag if I needed it. And so teaching is a moment in time. It's taking the time out to build a foundation and to teach something that is designed to leave a lasting imprint. So if I'm teaching you something, it's designed to leave a lasting imprint, which means when I'm done teaching you this, it won't be in one ear and out the other. This is something that's going to stick with you. It's in your gut, it's in your heart, it's in the seat of your emotions, it's in the back of your head, it's in that frontal cortex. It's look, you know it. and your brain can recall it when it's needed. And so teaching is a moment in time. So when you think about your Black family, I want you to think about how much time you're taking out to build the foundation that is needed as we wear this title of being Black. Teaching is designed to have a lasting imprint. So it's who we are, what we desire, what we contribute to society, what we want, what benefits us, what benefits the family, what benefits the community, how we deal with one another, how we engage with one another, how we set boundaries, how we allow one another access to each other. All of those things are a part of what we should be teaching. Teaching strengthens the family bond. It engraves a message in their heart. So when you start to teach your child, you begin to set them down at the table, open up a book and read from a book, or whether you have a dry erase board or a chalkboard, or maybe you have tablets, maybe you have composition notebooks, whatever you're going to use, whatever tools you're going to use, then it's a time to sit down. Whenever you take the time to pull away from everything, especially now, you're going to pull away from social media, you're going to pull away from the TV, you're going to pull away from everything, and you're going to sit down as a family. And you're going to discuss, and you're going to have these conversations, and you're going to have set up these building blocks for your family. Then that is something that is very, very valuable and something very much needed, and it's something different. And because of that, it's going to, like I said, strengthen the family bond. These are the moments that are engraved in their heart. Yes, they love it when you go to McDonald's. Yes, they love it when you go to the park. Yes, they love a good vacation. Who doesn't? Yes, they love it when you get together on Sunday dinner to have dinner with the family. They love it. They love it. They love it. They love it. Is that engraved in their heart as a lesson? Probably not. Good stuff, though. Don't stop doing it. Good stuff. Not the same. Teaching is the cornerstone of Black. Give your seed the foundation they need. Listen, nothing's going to help your child through life more than life lessons that have actually been taught. Not learned by the skinny of their teeth, not learned in a teachable moment, which are good, but that cannot be all that we give our children. We must give them a strong foundation. Look, they're trapped in the house right now. So most schools are virtual. Most parents are learning to operate a digital platform, whether it's social media, the digital classroom space. They're learning to operate WebEx, Web Room, GoToMeeting, Zoom, Facebook Room. They're learning to they're learning technology. So if you're one of those parents who wasn't familiar with how to get onto a virtual conference or a video conference, if you're one of those who didn't know how to download and upload and click on links and all the stuff that you're learning now, well, all of that is changing, right? And you're actually being taught how to use platforms, different platforms, multiple platforms. And I don't care what platform you're on, it's always going to be about clicking a tab, clicking a link, clicking a button that will take you here, take you there, whatever it's going to do. You're going to click on an icon, click on a tab, click on a button, click on a link, click on a URL, however you want to title it. Those are all mechanisms or moving pieces or interactive pieces to this new platform that you're being introduced to, because now your children are at home learners. You're homeschooling, a lot of them. And so you're learning all of these things. And that sets a basic foundation. The good thing is it also set a foundation for you to be able to participate in learning on a whole new level and to share a whole new experience with your children. With all that being said, I definitely definitely want to introduce you to the Legacy Workbook. The Legacy Workbook is all about giving our children that basic foundation that they all need because at this very moment, they're in learning mode. School is going on, and I know that's a lot. So, parents, if you don't want to do something extra right now, I understand because school is super important. I feel like the first 3 weeks of school should simply be spent with the child focusing on whatever they need to do in terms of classwork because just learning the system alone is a lot. And the teachers are trying very, very hard to get your child focused. So, but parents, you're the one watching me right now. Go on and grab this book. The Legacy Workbook is available on Amazon or you can order it through me, doesn't matter. And as you can see, there are 3 other books that I've written. I'm telling you right now, if you're Black, if you have the title of Black, you need all of my books. But I really want to speak to you right now about the Legacy Workbook. When you talk about building a foundation for your family, this is the go to book. Look, I came from a broken family home. I came from a broken family where we basically had it all, so to speak. My dad built our house on 21 acres of land that was left by his father to him. He had a great career as a construction manager. And so I enjoyed a lot of the things that other people didn't have access to. As I got older, though, my mother and father got a divorce, and we ended up moving to the projects. I had already suffered sexual abuse, and I suffered even more sexual abuse when I moved to the projects. It just was it was just one of those lives that you had where, of course, I remember some great things about my life and some great experiences in my childhood. I was a part of a dance group. I mean, I used to dance in competitions. I was definitely smart, honor roll student. I had plenty of friends. I had tons of fun. Went to the movies, just did all kinds of stuff that kids do. And so, but I did have that other part of my life where there was pain, there was struggle. We had poverty, and so it was very hard for us. I mean, when I was 12 years old, I was about 13, I think at the time, maybe 14, could have been 15. That it was so much shooting in our community, I literally could have been dead. I had the flu one time, and my mom said, "Go in your room and lay down. I think you have the flu." Well, I went in my room to take a nap. Next thing you know, gunshot comes through the window. My mom comes in my room because she thought she heard something hit my window, and she thought maybe a bullet came through. Well, sure enough, I'm laying there in the bed. A bullet, literally 1 inch above my head, came through my window. And so I lived through some very, very, very tough times. And what I really lived through was a household without a father. I really lived through not having the basic foundation. And so I found that, for me, it's important for me to share with you guys some of those foundational moments that we need to have and some teachings. And so I wrote this book called The Legacy Workbook. Now, the Legacy Workbook, the first chapter talks about becoming Black. And what I break down is who we really are versus who they said we are, over the years. So it's the title of being Black. Are we the people they say we are? First chapter is becoming Black. They say a lot of things about the slaves. They say that the slaves were so happy and they were so happy they would sing songs and that they were very pleased to serve their masters, and they teach us all kinds of stuff. Look, I'm 47 years old. They've been teaching this garbage way before I was born. And so what this book really does, it helps break down that unconscious barrier and brings us to a conscious mind to have our own thoughts about who we are as Black people. And each chapter does that. I have one section called the lies, one called the facts, and one called the truth. And then at the end of each chapter, I have know your history. Now, you may think this book is probably way complicated, too complicated for me to understand, probably a lot of work, but guess what? It's not. It's super, super easy. But the power of this book, when I got through with this book myself and I got through writing the book, I thought more highly of myself. I felt more in command of my world. I felt like I had more of a purpose. I definitely felt like there was a God connection and a Jesus connection too. I really felt a brotherhood with Christ. I really felt an alignment, you know. I felt like somehow my life had got into alignment with me being black in America. And I just felt a sense of worthiness I've never felt before. I felt vindicated. I felt liberated. I felt joy and peace and understanding like never before as I broke down the walls of what had been built in my subconscious mind to come to a conscious mind about who I was. And then the book goes on to teach lessons about commitment and trust and loyalty and love and all these little components that we need in order for us to function at our highest and to bring honor to who we are as African Americans. And I know that's not something that we talk about a lot. That's not something that we go over a lot. That's not something that we, I don't know, feel like we have privilege to. But it is literally all right. It's really us doing ourselves a disservice if we really don't seek out to understand fully who we are. And so I wrote this book called The Legacy Workbook just for us. And as you go through the Legacy Workbook, you're going to be able to identify exactly who we are. From chapter 1 being black, chapter 2 commitment, chapter 3 is loyalty, 4 is consistency, 5 is stability, 6 is love, and 7 is trust. When you're done with all of those chapters, you are then going to move on to creating a family covenant. And a family covenant is super important because a family covenant, that's where you say all the things that you agree to, all the things you want to see in your family. Is basically your manifestation checklist. So whatever you want to see manifest in your home and you know, because if the Bible said charity begins at home. So whatever you want to see manifest at home, you know, sharing, caring, trusting, acknowledging, you know, being a good person, being humble, whatever you want to see in your home, you build upon that. You build this covenant, and then that's what you see when your seed goes out into the world, when they go to school, when they're among and around other people. And then it goes on with them to college, and then it goes on with them to their jobs and their careers and everything they do. So building a family covenant is huge and it builds upon that basic foundation. And then the last thing that you're going to do in this book is build a family crest. I don't know how important it is uh, for you to understand. Well, I know how important it is, but it's got to be important for you to understand what it means to build a family crest. That's my crest. That I built every little piece of this crest, from the crown to the cross on the crown, the book, which is knowledge, the brain, which is conscious, the tree, which is our family tree, the lions, which represents strength, the two little snakes under the raised foot. That means we are crushing the enemy's head. And then my banner and the gray and all of that, that's because I'm feminine. I'm a woman, but I'm also powerful and legendary, which is why I have my name in that font. Listen, when you build your family crest, it's just going to open up your eyes to new levels of thinking. I mean, I feel like nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's just, that's what I'm feeling. That's what I feel, y'all. Like I believe in myself like I've never ever believed in my life. I know myself more than I ever known in my life. I'm comfortable with who I am. No one can shake this tree called Kathleen unless you want this fruit, honey. And I will share in the fruit all the things that I've learned, which is what I'm doing right now. All the things that I've learned, I'm sharing them with you. And I want you to know that this is the move I feel like we all need to make, right? We are living in a time where we are blessed to be home, to be caring for our loved ones. And although we're living through a pandemic that none of us like we're very clear on that. None of us wants a pandemic. That's like, no. Who wants a pandemic? I don't. However, we're living through it. And while we're living through it, it wouldn't hurt for us to elevate our conscious mind and to build strong foundations within our family. And so that's what I would like for you guys to do. The book is available at khconsciouscoach.org or khconsciouscoach.com. I own both domains. You can go there and shop with me. And this way we can bring equality into our homes. So I am Kathleen, your conscious coach. I do want to thank you so very much for joining me today. I love it when you guys watch my streams and go back and watch my restreams. I know I'm different from a lot of people because most people that you see on these type of platforms, they're in it for entertaining purposes. They want to talk about everybody's business and what they're doing and all of that. I do a little bit of that too, but I only do it to be a conscious guide to kind of serve as some things I feel like we could learn from what we saw. So on Thursday, I will be sharing about the young lady Trinity and the things that happened to her. But again, I'll only be sharing from, us having a conversation about it and being conscious about what we actually saw and how and what we need to do in situations like that, or even before we come into situations like that. So again, I am Kathleen, your conscious coach. This is your conscious hour with Kathleen. I'll be back on Thursday. Don't forget, if you would like to contribute to the show, hit the Cash App at Cash App KB Product, and I'll be more than happy to receive your donations. If you would like a book, you can also order a book using the same Cash App. So if you send me $20 or more, I will be more than happy to ship you out a book. You tell me which book, and I will get it to you. Make sure you send me your address. Send me the Cash App where you paid the $20, so I can identify who paid the $20. And I'll be more than happy to ship you a book. That's $20 or more, you get a book. If it's for every $20, you basically get a book. So if you send me $60, that's 3 books. $80, that's 4 books. However you want to do it. So yeah. But at any rate, thank you guys so much for joining me today for this conscious hour. Believe it or not, like I said, it's our time to break away from the curse. You guys have an awesome, super awesome day, and I will see you again on the Magical Thursday.